Rimuru in the real story dies countless times, but is always saved by the heroine Chloe, who alters the timelines to always save her beloved. Chloe had the ability to go back in time, a gift and a curse intertwined, a power born of desperation and regret. Each time she used it, she hurled herself back 2,000 years, hoping that maybe this time she'd change what was destined. Yet each attempt ended the same way. Rimuru would die. No matter what she tried, no matter the strategies, the alliances, or the sacrifices she made, his fate seemed written in blood and stone, as if mocking her efforts. And so the cycle continued, endlessly looping, a chain with no start and no end. Chloe would throw herself into each new timeline, only to watch him fall once more. Each attempt created a new world, another reality where a different Rimuru, each as beloved as the last, would face yet another death. There were no time paradoxes to unravel, no way to undo what she had done. Each timeline branched off, growing like roots of an ever-expanding tree, stretching deeper into infinity.
There are countless ways to reshape a shattered world, ways to rewrite the paths of those destined to fall. I've seen many of them, felt the weight of each choice and each sacrifice. Time bends to my will, yet some things remain constant. The need to protect, to safeguard what matters most. No matter how many times I face the end, no matter the price, I will save you, Rimuru.
Did you know that in one alternate timeline, Rimuru's death was not just inevitable, it shattered the entire world? In this version of events, after leaving the kingdom of Ingratia, Rimuru never encountered Hinata like he did in the main timeline. Instead, he returned to the Jura Tempest Federation just in time to prevent the Otherworlders from attacking Xion and the citizens, successfully avoiding a war with the Kingdom of Pharmus. However, this crucial decision came at a cost. He was never pushed into awakening as a true demon lord. Years passed and tragedy struck when the Eastern Empire launched its invasion. Chloe, who had grown to care deeply for Rimuru, begged him not to go. He smiled, assured her everything would be fine, and handed her the anti-magic mask for protection. That would be the last time she saw him. Rimuru was killed in the conflict, and without his leadership or the powerful primordials by his side, Tempest fell into chaos. In his absence, Veldora went berserk, and Milim, driven mad by grief, lost control. The world spiraled into destruction until Guy Crimson was forced to intervene to stop the carnage. It was a chilling reminder. In any timeline where Rimuru dies, the entire balance of the world collapses.
Did you know? Across the countless realities Chloe has traveled through, not all of them resemble what we've seen. Among the countless timelines, 3 stand out, each carrying a different fate for Rimuru and the entire Tensura world. The Abandoned Timeline. Rimuru dies at the hands of Hinata Sakaguchi, and Tempest is completely destroyed. However, Rimuru is resurrected, most likely by Shell, and once again steps into a life-or-death battle. He destroys the Holy Nation, kills Hinata Sakaguchi and Luminous Valentine, fights Guy, dies, and is revived once more. The Broken Timeline. Rimuru dies at the hands of the Empire. His defeat unleashes Veldora's rage. Chloe Aubert rewinds time, and Mili Nava activates Stampede. 2 of the strongest beings in the world cause near-global destruction. The main timeline. This is the timeline we usually follow. Rimuru Tempest becomes a true demon lord before entering the fated battle against the Eastern Empire. Every action, every decision, and every alliance Rimuru makes leads to the outcome of this timeline, where the balance between power and ideals is tested at its highest point. The abandoned and broken timelines always exist in parallel, like unavoidable reflections, reminding us that every decision has consequences, and not every reality grants Rimuru the chance to survive or to win.
His town could hasten the onset of the Great Tenma War. The Great Tenma War. The 500-year cycle of this great war begins with the invasion of the angels. Their targets are developed cities. The reason is unknown, but because the condition under which they are targeted is clear.
The game was over, but the seeds of conflict were still smoldering. And that would be the signal for the beginning of the worldwide demon war, Tenma.
Veldora is attacked by his older sister, Belgrind. Fearing that Rimuru will be affected, he cuts the connection with him. Rimuru, knowing the situation, he goes to Veldora. Veldora was attacked and had his mind manipulated. Rimuru
Velgrind took a quiet breath as she leapt into the space between worlds, seeking Rudra yet again. Each new leap was like stepping into an unknown dream, uncertain yet filled with traces of his presence, his soul scattered across endless realms. She remembered the first piece she found, a golden-haired youth ruling a starry continent. He had Rudra's spirit within him, faint but unmistakable. She stayed by his side, close enough to protect him, but always holding back. That was what he wanted after all. She watched as he became a king, conquered his neighbors, and left behind a legacy. His memory remained immortalized, yet she knew he was gone. And so it continued, each encounter more heartbreaking than the last. She would find him, recognize him, and yet never be fully recognized in return. She understood eventually. Veldanava hadn't created a single world, but many. Not parallel, but separate realms where Rudra could exist, only to vanish again.
It was as good a moment as any, as well as a small test. I made an attack towards Velgrind. A single strike from that sword had pierced the heavens and split the seas. Literally, the deadly shockwave bore no resemblance to the swing of a sword, and it severed Velgrind's wings in the middle of his evasion. Masayuki, known at the time as just Rudra, was born millennia ago as a prince of the kingdom of Nazca, with the ambition to unite the entire world. At some point, he was taken under the tutelage of Veldanava, who trained him to be a chosen hero that could rival Guy Crimson. Over the course of the many years of his training, he obtained both the unique skill Chosen One and the ultimate skill Uriel. He was also blessed by the elementals and their queen, awakening as a true chosen hero sometime after. Before his first confrontation with Guy, Veldinava approached him and proposed that they trade ultimate skills, his Uriel for Veldanava's Michael. Rudra accepted the offer and received Michael, a skill better suited for his dream of unifying the world. Yet, in a sad turn of fate, Michael would become his demise, ultimately leading to the tragic end of his life. Rudra, you see, he reached his limits long ago. He reincarnated himself so many times that it wore his soul out. What you see there is Rudra, but it's also not. He's long been replaced by Michael, Lord of Justice. Rudra once held pure and idealistic dreams of creating a perfect world where disputes could be settled with words rather than violence. The man with these naive ideals was slowly corroded away over time as Michael's control took control over his mind, his exhausted soul being chipped away by repeated rebirths, only serving to exacerbate the problem. Eventually, nothing more remained than an echo of his former self, a complete thrall to Michael that was imparted with the harsh ideologies of absolute justice and might make right.
Trong cơn phá đó anh không mong em thứ tha, để anh mất đi vì anh đã yêu người thứ hai.